What's up, guys? Today we're going to be talking about the Pixel 7 Pro here in 2025. I wanted to do an updated video. I get a few questions about this phone from time to time. The last time we talked about the Pixel, it was about these phones getting up to Android 18. So Google extended the software support, which I think a lot of manufacturers need to follow suit. Give these older flagships longer software support. So I'm really glad that Google did that. And this one is on Android 16. It's been running extremely well, and that is one thing that Google has been doing throughout the years. These phones have not slowed down. They've only got smoother, less bugs. So I've been really impressed, just throughout the years here. Hardware-wise, this Pixel still looks great. I've never put a case on it, and it doesn't have a ton of scratches. I think the most kind of scuffs I have is around this camera ring right here, but that's pretty much I really like the visor. They moved to this island design now on the 9 series, but I like the island. It looks cool. It kind of reminds me of that like Daft Punk helmet. Alright, so hardware-wise, like I said, it looks great. IP68 dust and water resistant, glossy back on here. Because it's the, white color, you don't really see fingerprints on here, which is nice. Glass and metal device, really nice looking phone still. Alright guys, let's talk about the display here. The display still looks great. It's an LTPO panel. It's 120 Hz HDR10 plus. It is 1500 nits peak brightness. I guess that's maybe the only thing that has aged about this phone. A lot of these phones these days are extremely bright. We're talking about 2000 plus nits outdoors in direct sunlight. But this one still looks good. It's not bad at all. The colors still look vibrant. It is a curved panel, which is kind of slowly going away. They're not really putting curved screens in flagships anymore. But I like the curved display. I think it looks good. Now, it's a 1440p display, and it's 512 for the PPI at 6.7 inches. And yeah, I think it looks fine. And for some reason, I always say this every time I pick this phone up and use it. These older displays, I don't know what it is. I think it's because the glass is curved, or I don't know. But they feel a lot smoother than the flat displays on the Pixel 8 and 9 Pro. Like, these phones legit feel smoother. And I know that the newer phones have newer specs and they should be smoother, but I don't know. It's something about I've nailed it down to something with how your finger feels on the display or something like that. But I'm telling you, these older Pixels feel smoother. I can't put my finger on it. It's just I think it's like the curved glass or something like that. But I don't know. I can't. I have no clue. It might just be me, but a lot of people, if you look at the comments on some of the older videos, a lot of people have said that too. So it drives me crazy trying to figure out why these older phones feel way smoother. But yeah, the display on here is great, so no issues here. All right, so the Google Tensor chip on here. So this is the G2 processor. It's 128 gigs of internal storage and 12 gigs of RAM. I believe the base models start with 12 gigs of RAM as well. So plenty of RAM on here to run, whatever you need. A lot of multitasking, some of the AI functions on here. And yeah, overall performance has been pretty good. Like, I think general use is really good on the Pixel when we talk about just being very consistent with animations and stuff. Coming over here to like the Google Now news thing, is all really smooth. The drop down menu is really smooth. This phone is super smooth when you're pretty much doing anything on it. So it's something that I really appreciate. The phone has, to me, gotten a lot faster throughout the years for sure. So when you're just bouncing in and out of applications or whatever, yeah, it's a pretty smooth experience. So it's something that is awesome here. Now, I say this all the time. These Pixel phones, they're decent gaming phones, but because Google doesn't optimize these phones for, I guess the popular titles like PUBG, Call of Duty, they're kind of behind. And, if you look at the benchmarks and stuff like that, they're not, crazy compared to the other flagships. But, there's a lot of mobile gamers out there, and people are always like, oh, who games on their, phone or whatever, you game on your computer. I get it, I do game on my computer as well, but there's a huge market of people who do mobile gaming, right? Who play PUBG, Call of Duty, and whatever else competitively. So it is it is what it is. But this phone, this is something I would like Google to work on, but it does perfectly fine when it comes to just, just coming in here playing a match or two, PUBG or Call of Duty here. Alright, so we're in PUBG here. So as you guys can see, we go to smooth, we only have 60 frames, but it plays fine at 60 frames. It's not like a big deal, but like I said, if you're more competitive, you're probably going to be looking somewhere else. Samsung, the Pro model iPhones, OnePlus, but you can definitely come in here and get some gaming done. Emulators run pretty well on these phones as well too. So it's just something to just know, right? I always say the cameras are the best thing about these Pixel phones. I'm a big fan of the cameras here. I've always been a big fan. I filmed a lot of my YouTube shorts with the Pixels phones, and yeah, they still look great. Even the older Pixels still give you really good image quality. Has a 15 megapixel standard, 48 megapixel periscope telephoto. It's got 5 times optical zoom, 12 megapixel ultra wide. Can shoot in 4K 60, 10.8 megapixel selfie. Also shoots in 4K 60. I think these shots looks, I think they look great, guys. The dynamic range is awesome. The colors are pretty nice and accurate as well. This camera, of course, the newer ones are gonna, do a little bit better in low light photography and stuff like that. But I mean, this phone still takes pretty good shots, even, in kind of like lower light situations. It does a good job with image processing. Skin tones look really nice on here as well too. You don't get that kind of washed out look if you're, a darker color. So I do like the overall cameras on here. I've always been a big fan, and I've been a big fan of the video as well too. I just like the way the color looks. I don't know what it is about, the iPhone and Samsung phones where the color is just not, it's just a personal preference, but I just like the way the video looks. I think it just looks a lot more natural on the Pixel phones. But yeah, so overall, if you're thinking about buying one of these phones, they're very cheap. You want a good camera phone, I mean, you can't go wrong with the 7 Pro. It still can give you a pretty amazing shot. The speakers on the Pixel 7 Pro still sound pretty good. There's a good amount of bass and overall just a nice balanced full sound. So you guys can hear the bass quality is pretty good. Overall sound is very nice, crisp and clear. Google has been pretty consistent with the speakers on the Pixel series ever since the 6 Pro, or even before that. You still have really good speakers. The face unlock is here. You also have an optical fingerprint scanner, which also works pretty well, even though it's not as fast as the ultrasonic, but it does work pretty well. So I don't have an issue with that. I would say the battery life on the Pixel 7 Pro is okay. It's not anything crazy. It's a 5,000 milliamps. I think standby time has gotten better with the updates, but overall your battery life, even when I first got the phone, is just kind of average, and it's because of this processor. This phone can kind of suffer from heating problems. I've had that issue. If it's hot outside and you're filming, it'll flash a heat warning. I had that happen one time, but besides that one time, I haven't really had it happen again. You have 23 watt charging, which is kind of slow. 23 watt wireless charging, reverse wireless charging is on board. So battery life, the battery situation it's okay. It depends on if you're a lighter user. If you're a heavier user, you can kind of drain this phone pretty easily. But yeah, so what do you guys think of the Pixel 7 Pro? Are you guys holding on to your 7 Pro? Or are you thinking about getting another phone, upgrading from this? Be sure to let me know, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.